We're out here for our first official kickoff with our partners HelloFresh, Second Helpings Atlanta, and Pratt Industries as we kick off their Meals with Meaning program. Their HelloFresh nationally is going to give away over 60,000 meals a month. Here in Atlanta, we're going to be doing 800 meal kits a week. Now that ends up being about 8,000 meals because there are 2 meals for a family of 4 in each kit. So every Wednesday for the next calendar year, we're going to be distributing food to folks who need it. So folks who are in a food desert, if you've been adversely affected by COVID-19, if you're struggling to feed your family, or if you just need some additional help this week, come by. We'll make sure that you get a meal and make sure that we help ameliorate some of those problems in your home.
Today we're here in Northwest Atlanta to say goodbye to this old eyesore that has been plaguing this community for over a decade. Sierra Ridge was a drug haven, drug-infested parcel of land right here at 3202 Delmar Lane. So community members gathered here today because this is the beginning of the rehabilitation and renovation of Sierra Ridge. Over 10 years ago, there were over 300 code enforcement violations, over 300 calls to 911, and we knew that we had to do something about it. It is very important that they have a safe, sanitary environment. We will be working with the owners of this property and the developers to make sure that the quality of life for all residents exists in Northwest Atlanta.
Today, this is a service project in the Bush Mountain community, and we are on the Atlanta Black Crackers practice field, and sometimes they played ball on this field. So they were professional ball players. Many of them went to the major leagues, okay, from right here in the Bush Mountain community. We're refurbishing the ball field here. We've had the family of 2 of the 3 Atlanta Black Crackers that I honored today here. So we had a large group of family members from Charles Ingram and from Preston Ingram. They were just great ball players. It's just so much history here in this city, not only in the district that I represent, but throughout the city of Atlanta. This is just a great opportunity for us to celebrate bygone years, but to remember those that came before us.
We are here at Greenbrier Mall for our community wellness and Empower Day. And what that means is we're giving out vaccine shots. Walgreens is here. Wellness is everything. We know that right now everyone needs to be vaccinated. The COVID vaccination is here. When we're talking about Empower, we have resources here for not just children, but for the adults. We have fresh produce because the Fulton County, I've partnered up with Chairman Pitts. And so the Fulton County is here with their fresh produce truck. The library is here, Fulton County Library. Those resources are here. Children are loving that I am giving out book bags. Our city solicitor donated book bags. We have another restaurant around here, Area 4. They've donated book bags, and my office has donated hundreds of book bags. And these book bags are full. We have a lot going on because District 11 is really getting ready to be empowered and well. And that's what today is about.
It has always been a great community. It's still a great community because it's populated by great people in the community who love Atlanta. This is National Night Out, and we're pleased to be here in the Collier Heights, historic Collier Heights community. So we've got representatives from all of our public safety agencies here, APD, AFRD, the court system are here at this time, and we're having a cookout, but it's bigger than that. We are reclaiming the streets for the community, from the criminals. You know, you can't terrorize us anymore. You can't victimize us anymore.
We have to be intentional about rebuilding relationship between community and our police. And I think it's not just about building the relationship, but reinstilling trust back in our communities. And especially at a time where crime is at its highest we've seen in this nation, I think it's even more important that we're working collaboratively with, our local police officers and our community members to help mitigate the continued rise in crime.
Anytime that a community comes together, it builds a stronger city. When neighbors talk to each other, when they talk to their elected officials, when they talk to their firefighters and police officers, it makes for a really strong community, and that's what we want to see across the city. So tonight is proof of that all of our neighborhoods are strong and vibrant, and together we can make our city safe.
It's an opportunity for them to get close up to the residents and just really show that they're human beings. Police officers are human beings just like anybody else. They've got feelings, and so the police love doing this. This is their time where they get an opportunity to really come together and don't have to write reports and can really talk on the same level as the citizens.
Thank you all so much.
At the heart of National Night Out, safer and stronger communities happen when we're connected. And for 17 years, Midtown Neighborhood Association has been hosting this event. Even the rain didn't keep people away. I think it speaks to the sense of community here that exists. The city's going through a challenging time right now, and connectedness and community is even more important than it has been over the last several years.
We are here because we are very encouraged, and we want our neighbors to do Citizens on Patrol, look out for one another during this crime wave here in Northwest Atlanta.
And when we talk about crime, it's more than just our police officers who, of course, put their lives on the line every day and night for us, but we have to have strong communities and strong community policing where the people know the officers and the officers know the people in the communities, and we can work together to drive out crime from our neighborhoods.
I just got through with a conversation with the Atlanta Police Department and the community, asking questions about crime and how we can make a difference. And I'm very excited about the enthusiasm from the neighborhood folks.
You see something, you what? Say something. We need to fight this crime. That's why I'm glad to see these officers out here.
This is the neighborhood that I live in, and these beautiful homes have beautiful neighbors, and they're all here to talk about public safety and to see each other. Always remember to be safe and to look out for your fellow man and take care of your police officers as they take care of us.
Historic Collier Heights neighborhood happens to be my neighborhood, and so this is always my last best stop. The rain didn't stop them. They're out here to fellowship, to meet their neighbors, to have fun with their neighbors, but also to keep cognizant and remember about public safety. Our fire department and police department always come out so the community can say thank you to them for all the great work that they do.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Stay at Home Connect. I'm Phyllis Jackson. The Fulton County Board of Commissioners will consider COVID-19 vaccine requirements for its employees when it meets next week. County Chairman Rob Pitts wants all employees to be vaccinated by Labor Day. Employees would have to present proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test every 48 hours. The increase in COVID cases leads the city of South Fulton to implement a mask mandate in all public places. The Pentagon implements a plan requiring U.S. military members to get vaccinated by mid-September. Officials say the shot is a necessary step to maintaining military readiness. As COVID cases surge across the nation, health experts say 94,000 children have been infected with COVID-19 within the past week. The American Academy of Pediatrics is calling for the FDA to grant authorization of COVID-19 vaccines for children as soon as possible. Broward County, Florida public school officials opt to defy Florida's ban on mask mandates set by Governor DeSantis. State officials are also threatening to withhold salaries of leaders who defy that order, which also threatens to pull funding from districts establishing the mask mandate. Florida leads the country in COVID-19 hospitalizations of children. School starts August 18th.
Good afternoon. Ms. Linda, are you there? Hello?
You're not alone, Chairwoman Shepherd. This is Councilmember Faruqi.
Okay.
Councilmember Bond is here.
Okay. Ms. Lindo is not here. I want to make sure we get her in as we wait.
Madam Chair, I was here. I've been unmuted finally. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. All right, thank you. We will go ahead and start the meeting. This is Councilmember George Shepherd, Chair of the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee. And I want to thank everybody for joining today remotely. Ms. Lindo, we will start with the roll call for our committee members.
Yes, Madam Chair. We have Councilmember Dustin Hillard.
Present.
We have Councilmember Andrea O'Boone.
Present.
We have Councilmember Amir Faroki.
Here.
Councilmember Carla Smith. Ms. Smith? Ms. Smith? Councilmember Michael Julian Bond.
I'm here, sorry.
Here.
Thank you. Councilmember Cleta Winslow.
Present.
Madam Chair, we do have a quorum of members present.
Thank you so much. Will you go ahead, Ms. Lindo, and read the meeting of the public announcement remote meeting statement, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Good afternoon. Today's Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee meeting will be conducted remotely as advertised and in accordance with Georgia Code Section 50-14-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting conference bridge toll-free by dialing 877-579-6743 and entering conference ID number 831-599-1256. This information was also provided on the Friday, August 20, 2021 public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 26, the Council's homepage at citycouncil.atlanta.ga.gov, Facebook and Twitter pages at ATL Council and the Council's YouTube channel. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council website on the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee presentations page. Today's meeting agenda was also published and made available on Friday, August 20th via the city's website at atlantacitygA.iqm2.com. In addition, the public is able to submit comments via voicemail at 404-330-6022. Yesterday, between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m., these comments will be played during the public comment portion of this meeting. All persons present on a remote council meeting conference bridge are requested to please mute your phones and speakers. Meeting participants wishing to speak must be acknowledged by the committee chair. Any amendments, substitutes, presentations, and informational documents have been distributed to committee members beforehand. Thank you all in advance for your cooperation.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. We're now at the adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. Is there a second? Winslow, second. Thank you. There's a motion and a second. We're ready for the vote, Ms. Lindo.
A moment, Madam Chair. The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? Will everyone please vote?
Who has not voted?
We have Ms. Councilmember Hillis and Boone.
Boone, yes. Thank you, Ms. Boone.
The vote is closed. That's 7 yeas, 0 nays. The meeting agenda has been adopted.
Thank you. We will now move to approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Bond. Thank you, Mr. Bond. Is there a second? Winslow, second. Thank you, Ms. Winslow. We're ready for the vote, Ms. Lindo.
A moment. The vote is open, Madam Chair. Will everyone please vote? Ms. Boone?
Ms. Boone, how do you vote? I'm sorry, Ms. Boone.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Boone.
The vote is closed. That's 7 yeas, 0 nays. The meeting minutes have been approved.
All right. Thank you. We're now down to public comment. I believe we have 10 minutes and 26 seconds. So, Ms. Lindo, we're ready.
One moment, Madam Chair.
Greetings, council members and staff.
A special greeting to you citizens and voters of Atlanta, monitoring your government in action between now and Tuesday, November 2nd. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. Chapter 5, Section 2-501 of the Atlanta Code of Ordinances describes the initiative and referendum process. I submit that whenever such a controversial matter as the location of a new police training facility divides our citizens one from another, the City Council, acting from a position of protocol, safety, and full transparency, should arrange for the matter to be put to a public vote by way of referendum, especially when public green space has such varying degrees of endearment in the minds of so many, especially when there is no agreed upon amount of money that it will take to keep this new training facility from falling into a state of disrepair as was allowed to happen at the current police training facility, especially when some citizens have been led to believe criminals will pack up and flee just because there's a new police training facility in town, especially since this is the year when council members are up for re-election, especially when citizens like those in Council District 11 and Council District 12 have been denied the opportunity to weigh in on this matter at NPUR meetings as a consequence of the tactics of the NPUR 9, Antonita Robinson, Colin Blair, Ricardo Jacobs, Alfred White, Renette L. Scott, Allison Hathaway, Gerald Brown, Jerry Williams, and the NPUR 9 cohort supporters and enablers. I am Brother Anthony Cummings, a soul for spiritual being, having a human experience. My God, I told her, Assalamu alaikum, participating committee. I call on the chief. We have now 15 legislators passed favorably for the new jail training facility. Millions of dollars will be co-paid and allocated for the training facility. Now, I ask you, be an influential chief of the 21st century, that had a mayor there, the old jailhouse, I want to use it to facilitate ways to improve the conditions of people having access to training programs, having access to the budget, being able to have somewhere they can come off the street, have something available that we can use to a empowerment of the social value of humanity in Atlanta. So, Chief of Police and your honor, let's find a way to influence the city council people. Don't be like the fraternities and the sororities that made arms with miseducated fraternities and sororities relationships to the mistress system. There wasn't no mistress system to my ancestors. It was an educational system that was foreign to the invaders and to tenants. We have to know that the Masonic orders and all of these occult orders came out of our foundation in relationship to the original Aboriginal people of the earth. We taught civilization. We taught culture. We taught things. We Aboriginal, the pollinated, the dark people of the earth. So I ask you to know, let's use the facility that we have to influence the people that don't have education opportunity due to the fact of the business owners for over 400 years. And those of the religious foundations over 400 years there in America use that influence contrary to the ways of our ancestors and for the humanity to always be one people with one will representing the entity, the soul and spirit of the creator of the heaven and earth. I am Brother Anthony Muhammad. My God, bet you I don't tell. Let's do right with the people that is at the bottom ground that is suffering in the United States. They got to pay for a hotel. I swear it.
Good afternoon, City Council member. My name is Margie, Miss Margie. We're talking about over and over safety. Crime rate is going up. What is the problem? We talk. Community youth have to get involved. Everybody has to be involved. Churches, pastors, you got to come out of those churches. We need you on the corner. If they see you on the corner, someone's doing it, but we don't have enough pastors on them corners and talking to them youth. If they see you, we used to do that in the past, but the past, you consider the history, but it has to be the future. That's the only way we're going to get this crime down. Because we need people to understand that touch, not video games. They need that touch. They need to see you out there. They'll get you respect. And I know everybody's talking about running for election and all that. But our time's got to be focused on the youth out here now. And I believe pastors come on out these corners like we used to do, and it does work. And they would like to see you. We got programs. Sometimes we put our money in the wrong program. Because I've seen it. I could tell you some of these programs using that money, but I won't mention no names. But let's create a snitch, a good snitch, to honor a good snitch. Because these children know who got a gun, they know what's in, they can tell you. Because they'll talk to the bus drivers before they talk to the teachers. So let's perform a snitch program, a good snitch, to save lives. And this is the only way we have to work together. The police, you got good and bad, and we know that. But they can't not do everything. We of the community, we got to go back what we used to do. Because all these children is your children too. Even if I don't live in that neighborhood. If I see a child is doing something wrong, report it. You have these children out here late, and you know they have no reason to be out here, 9 years old out here at 10, 11 o'clock at night. We turn our head and don't say nothing. That's what we got to do to get informed. Be accountable with the youth. And they know who's gambling in them.
Even out to the Spirit of Christ, my name is Henry Jordan. How long will you imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you, as a boy wall shall ye be, and as a towering fence. Psalm 62, chapter 3rd verse. However, from his comfortable position, he's able to exhort others to trust in the Lord. When you work mischief, James Montgomery, you ask for death. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1st chapter 8 verse. Yet money is a common cause of trials and double-mindedness, unreliability. If you are not here, if you are not laid to heart to give glory unto my name, says the Lord of hosts, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because ye do not lay it to heart. Malachi 2nd chapter 2nd verse. The threat of severe judgment on the covenant breaker seems to act as a strong stimulus to correct behavior than any promise of blessing. He that rejected me and receiveth not my word has one that judgeth him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. John 12 chapter 48 verse. He was to be like Jesus in that he was faithful, full of compassion and love, a powerful intercessor for his people, speaking with God face to face and reflecting the divine glory. Thank Jesus for loving us more than we love ourselves. Jesus has a protection plan for the plot of Satan. That will surprise you, but submission to him is required. Christ rewards obedience to his word, to his will, to his spirit. And that's what we need, his obedience. To obey him. To be blessed by him. Thank you, and obey Jesus.
That concludes the public comments, Madam Chair. That concludes the public comments, Madam Chair.
Do you hear me, Ms. Lindo? Ms. Lindo?
That concludes the comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I was muted. So we're now at communications. So can you read in the first item up under communications, Ms. Lindo? And I'll understand that the person is also here.
That's correct. She is, Madam Chair, and that's Communications 21C 0098. This is a communication from Dr. Omar Torres, Dean of Student Services and Campus Life at Clark Atlanta University, submitting the appointment of Ms. Kaylin Strahan to serve as a member of the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. This appointment is for a term of 3 years.
Ms. Strahan, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Thank you for coming. Would you just please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you would like to serve?
Of course, I sure will. Well, I will start off by saying good afternoon once again. As many of you know, I am Kaylin Strahan, originally from Chicago, Illinois, the windiest city, but currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia. At the illustrious Clark Atlanta University, I am a sophomore business administration major with a concentration in speech communications and minor in marketing. I would like to start off by saying how truly honored and blessed I am by this astounding opportunity. I'll tell you, when I received the call that I was nominated for this board, my emotions overwhelmed me completely, because not only did my university choose me to represent them, but they also offered me a voice to speak on behalf of all the AUC schools, which is amazing. I am so grateful and appreciative, and I will humbly accept if you choose to vote me into office. Now, with that being said, I will tell you a few things about myself and about my summer. Last year, I served as the freshman class president, where I was able to be the challenge speaker for the induction ceremony, which just introduced freshmen and transfers to Clark Atlanta University. I was able to motivate and inspire my peers to overcome the change in their lives, which is very prevalent now, especially with COVID-19 and all of the racism that has been going on all of these years. I am also a committed member of the women's track and field team here at Clark Atlanta University, while also choosing to be a partner with The Way of the Panther, which is a motivational, encouraging social media page run by one of the students here at Clark Atlanta University. This past summer, I interned with a multi-million-dollar Black-owned natural hair care company, Mayo Organics, where I worked closely with the social media coordinator and digital marketing coordinator to create new campaigns, produce great content for the social media page, and ensure Mayo Organics reached a different audience, which we were successful by the end of my internship. I know that I am a great asset to the Atlanta Civil Service Board, and being a representative for my peers truly excites me. And I'm not sure if you can hear in my voice, but I've been smiling this entire time. I would love to be confirmed for this position due to my love for justice. I've seen how decisions can either negatively or positively change the course of people's lives. And because the board's mission is to consider grievances of citizens who have complaints against any member of the police and or corrections department, I know I will not only do well in this role, but it will also allow me to have more of an influence and accomplish my life goal, which is to make a difference. Again, I am overwhelmed with joy and I am so grateful to you for having me speak today. I am so blessed, and I hope you all are having an amazing day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Strahan. I'm elated with your passion and your commitment. I look forward to working with you all on the board. Are there any questions from my colleagues?
Move approval.
Thank you, Mr. Bond. There's a motion to approve. Is there a second? Winslow, second. Thank you, Ms. Winslow. Ms. Strahan, I believe that we're going to vote you up, but let's see. Are we ready for the vote? Hold tight.
The vote is open, Madam Chair.
Ms. Lindo, could you put me as a yes? I've timed out in my computer.
Yes, Madam Chair. Councilmember Boone?
Yes, I voted. I'm on the system now. Thank you.
The vote is closed. 7 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable.
Ms. Strahan, we look forward to working with you. We're very elated. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you all so much. I'm smiling from ear to ear right now.
All right. We look forward to meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to meeting and working with you all as well.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We will now move to presentations, Ms. Lindo, and I believe the first one we have is our Assistant Chief Court with the Atlanta Police Department. This is the quarterly report.
Yes, Madam Chair. One moment.
Good afternoon, Council Member. On behalf of Chief Ryan, I want to say thank you all for listening to us, and we can start the presentation. Can you go to slide number 2, please? Slide number 2 is showing the second quarter reports, basically from April to June of this year. As everyone sees the numbers in front of them, our violent crime is still a challenge. We are attempting to adjust what we do and how we do it to address the issues that are before us. We have made some gains with the reorganization of some sections and units in the department. Our CID, or Criminal Investigations Division, we now have it broken down to major crimes section and also the crimes against property section. This allows all investigators to fall under one division. This is going to improve communication and efficiency. With major crimes, of course, we have our homicide, ag assault. Ag assault was formerly our gun assaults unit, but now ag assault will handle all aggravated assaults under one division. Previously, depending on what the issue was or what the case was, the zone investigators would handle some aggravated assaults. Now we have everything falling under the aggravated assault unit. We also have robbery, domestic violence, and repeat offender that falls under the major crimes. And for crimes against property, we have burglaries, auto larcenies, and larcenies. And as I stated, this will improve communication and efficiency. We'll make sure that all of the investigations, all of the information is shared with the investigators so nothing slips through the cracks. By moving all investigative units under the same division, it ensures the standardization of the investigative process, and it also allows the commanders to more evenly distribute the caseloads amongst the investigators to make sure that proper time is given to each individual case. Can you go to slide number 3, please? Slide number 3 is the crime report year to date. As I mentioned, violent crimes, more specifically homicides, rapes, and aggravated assaults are troublesome. Additionally, the auto larcenies and auto thefts are also driving the crime. The vast majority of our violent crime involves individuals that know each other. our investigators and officers are making arrests. However, we want to get in a place where we stop the incident from happening. Approximately 60% of the homicides involve individuals that know each other, and about 90% of the rapes involve individuals that know each other. With that being said, I ask for the community's help. As I've mentioned, our officers are making good arrests and are out there being proactive. However, we still need help from the community to stop these incidents from happening. Our homicide unit has a 75% clearance rate. So if something happens, those investigators are identifying the people and making the arrest. Same thing goes with our aggravated assault and our robbery units. Just this past week, our robbery unit arrested an individual that was responsible for at least 4 robberies in the city. So, again, it's another example that they are making good cases. Our Titan unit, it was formerly known as Apex. The Titan unit continues to take guns off of the street, and they execute warrants related to drugs. So we're focusing on that. We know a lot of the violent incidents are occurring because of drug use or drug transactions. So our Titan unit is very engaged in that, and they have been able to stop a number of incidents from occurring with those warrants and those arrests. We also have our gang unit. We've changed the name to the gang unit. Previously, they were known as the intelligence unit, but we have people from the community that were a little confused on if the Atlanta Police Department had a gang unit. We always have had a gang unit. So to make that easier to identify, we've changed the name from intelligence to the gang unit. Our gang unit continues to work with our other federal, state, and local partners to address the gang issues that we have in the city. At the end of the first quarter, we were up about 50% for homicides. That number is now down to 9%. It's nowhere where we want it to be, but we are making some progress. Or another thing that we have done also is for the Zone 2 or the north end of the city, we have now instituted a traffic enforcement team. Due to the increasing crimes, the daytime population increases, and the high volume of traffic-related calls for service, we thought it would be prudent to add some additional personnel up there to help our Zone 2 officers with traffic-related issues. We're going to add a mini precinct in that area. It's going to be similar to the Zone 5 Midtown precinct. The officers that are going to go up there are going to focus on traffic-related calls for service. This will allow the other officers, the beat officers, to have more time on their beats, to be more engaged with the citizens of the community. So hopefully they'll be able to handle the higher priority calls, and the citizens will get to know those officers a little bit better. Can you go to page number 4 or slide 4, please? Slide 4 shows the homicides by the zones. As you see, the homicides by the zones, it's spread out throughout the city. We have them in Zone 1 through Zone 6. Zone 6, normally those numbers are lower, but as everyone sees, they're high. They're higher than they usually are. We are focusing on that. We consistently give the Zone 6 space additional officers on the weekend to try and help them with that Edgewood, Auburn Avenue corridor. So we're addressing that. Can you go to slide number 5, please? Slide number 5 will show the homicides year to date. Slide number 6, please. Slide number 6 shows the shooting victims for the second quarter, April through June. Chief Ryan and I, you constantly hear everyone from the Atlanta Police Department saying it's too many guns in the city. This is a prime example. we have, for the second quarter, 298 shooting incidents for the quarter. The first quarter, we had 171. Can we go to slide number 7? Slide number 7 will show the total shooting victims for the year. And as you see, those numbers are rather high also. And can we go to slide number 8? Slide number 8 is going to show weapons recovered and also weapons stolen from vehicles. Weapons stolen from vehicles is still a huge problem. We are recovering a large amount of weapons. That shows the dedication and perseverance that our officers have. The large amount of weapons that are stolen are from visitors in the downtown and the north part of the city. I ask again, if you come into the city and you have to leave a weapon in a vehicle, please secure the weapon in a lockbox or a safe in the vehicle. We're continuing to garner a lot of stolen weapons. Can we go to slide number 9, please? Slide number 9 will show our attrition and recruitment for the year. Recruitment has picked up. We've had more people continue to apply to APD this year than last year. The attrition has also slowed. Every law enforcement agency in the country is facing the same challenges that the Atlanta Police Department is facing. So we're all going after the same candidates. Candidates are still very interested in what APD and the city has to offer, and that's evidenced by the number of applications or applicants we have applying to Atlanta. We just we're stemming the tide with people leaving, and we're continuing to have more people come and join APD. We just ask that everyone stays positive, and when you see an officer, you can say thank you for what he or she does, and our officers are dedicated. That's all I have for this right now, and I will be open for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Court. Is there any questions from my colleagues?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bond?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Deputy Chief Court, for your presentation. I just would like to ask you to elaborate a little bit more on the amount of homicides that we've had this year as compared to last year. And I know I think you mentioned that it was 75% cleanup rate. Is that an increase in solving those crimes, or how does that relate to the year previous?
75% is about average on what our investigators have. I believe the national rate is around 62-65%. So our homicide unit typically does better than most departments around the country. That's because of the dedication they have and the commanders and the way it's set up. So it's about average on what we have on a yearly basis. It's not up or down significantly either way.
Okay, and to follow up with that, I know last year a lot of these shootings, a lot of these murders were individuals who knew each other, but they weren't necessarily from the metropolitan area. What's the trend this year? Is it more local people, or is it still people who are here to party, for lack of a better description, or who are visiting our city?
Well, most of the incidents, the homicides, and also the aggravated assaults are individuals that know each other. We did have a time at the end of last year, especially during COVID, where we had a lot of people coming from out of town because we still Atlanta was still looked upon as being open. So we had a lot of people come into town to go to clubs and party. So that brought a lot of outside residents or outside visitors in committing the crimes. That has slowed down. We still have some incidents, but for the most part, it has slowed down. Most of the incidents are Georgia residents. They may not necessarily stay in the city of Atlanta, but they are metro area residents or Georgia residents that participate in these violent acts.
And just one last question, because I don't want to dominate, is to go back towards the issue about firearms and guns. You all seem to have been doing a really good job in the previous quarter report at recovering guns. Has that rate continued, or has it slowed? Do we need more public education about people securing their weapons?
It's about the same. We still need more public education as far as securing weapons in vehicles. As I mentioned, a lot of the incidents occur when people are coming into the downtown space, whether they're going to the Georgia World Congress Center or going to a restaurant or a play or going up into the North End to shop. A lot of residents, a lot of people come and visit, and they'll find out that restaurant or that store doesn't allow or don't want them to bring a weapon in, so they will leave a weapon in the vehicle, and it ends up getting stolen. So we need more public education.
This is something I want to ask you about. I'm glad to hear that the attractiveness of APD is still there. What is the morale, I guess, of those who are continuing to work under these circumstances where we've got where we're down on officers? If our attrition rate is slow, can we interpret that as the morale of those who are working ongoing is still good, or what's the situation with that?
The morale of the officers is getting better. Our officers are working; they're dedicated. As I stated, they are making arrests. So the morale is getting better. I would ask that the people that do support APD, when they see an officer, let the officer know that they are being supported. We have a lot of things going around in the media, whether it's defunding the police or stopping Cop City. So the officers see that on a consistent basis, but they don't see or hear the people that support them. So that's why I'm asking that the people that do support our officers make it known to the officers, because they're here for a reason. They want to work for the people in the city. So if we can just say thank you, that would carry on a long way.
All right, thank you, Deputy Chief. Madam Chair, I withdraw.
Thank you. I just want to add to a couple of questions. First of all, Assistant Chief Court, thank you all for what you do. I was glad to see you this past Friday at Atlanta Metropolitan College, where we finally have our folks in there, and I did share my support of the police department. It was really great because they began to talk openly about their concerns and their feelings, and so what you're saying is absolutely on point in terms of just interacting with our officers and making them understand that we also support them. I want to go back to your, you talked about some restructuring you're doing in terms of investigators and all of that. Is there a chart, because you were talking about how y'all are revamping, there's a gang unit and there's some other things that y'all are doing now coming up on a different umbrella. Is there a chart where we can see all of that so we'll know where, who, what, when, and where, and who's over all of those different divisions? Have y'all done that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, there will be a reorganization chart that we can send out to the council members. And, typically we post that so the people in the city of Atlanta can see it. So that will be distributed also.
Okay. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? Questions from someone else? Is that Mr. Saroki? Are there questions?
No, not me, no.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Assistant Chief Court. We appreciate you.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
All right. We'll now move on to Code Enforcement Quarterly Division for the Police Department, and that's Major Shiftfire. Is that Deputy Chief Shiftfire or Major Shiftfire? Come on up, Major Shiftfire. Let me make sure I get your rank right.
It's going to be Major Shiftfire, but I appreciate the promotion when I can get it. But it'll be Major Shiftfire, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're ready for you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Madam President and council members. I am Major Shiftfire from the Atlanta Police Department, and I will be presenting the quarterly report for the City of Atlanta Police Department's Code Enforcement section. Next slide. This will be slide number 2. Today's agenda will consist of some of the City of Atlanta nuisance properties that we've been investigating and inspecting, the proactive violent crime code enforcement inspection program, the junk vehicle program, and compliance resolution activity. Next slide, it'll be slide number 3. So back in July of this year, I think it was July 14th of 2021, we conducted a detail at 3540 North Camp Creek Parkway. That's going to be the Royal Oaks Apartments. We went out to this location because of the amount of complaints that we were receiving. And upon investigation and inspection, these people were spot on. The citizens that called in, they were right. The place was a mess. So code enforcement, personnel from Zone 4, and the Public Works team, the SWEET team, actually went out to the location with us. There were a total of 131 code enforcement violations found, and the SWEET team issued some citations for there not being an enclosure around the dumpsters. There is a nuisance abatement action pending on this. It's in the solicitor's office, and we're currently waiting a court date. Next slide. This would be slide number 4. So slide number 4, actually the next couple slides are going to show some photographs. Now, as I'm talking about these photos, I just want to put out there that these photos do not do justice to how deplorable this apartment complex was. So these photos in this slide are showing trash and debris. You can see in one of the breezeways there was just a toilet sitting out there. There were massive holes in the asphalt, like the driveway and the parking area. The soffit and fascia was falling from the roof. Windows were boarded up, and some of these apartments where the windows were boarded up were livable structures. And you can also see some gutters hanging and laying on the ground. Next slide, slide number 5. Continuing, you can see deteriorated fencing, some interior shots, the ceiling and walls deteriorating because of water, more asphalt damage, junk vehicles, trash. Next slide, this will be slide number 6. Again, the soffit and fascia from the roof falling down from the building, exposed wiring, which is a hazard, more fencing that was falling down, hand railings and balusters that were falling over, and open crawl spaces. Next slide, this will be slide 7. These are some interior shots showing mold, damage to the roofs from rain, and it shows some patch jobs that are less than it's deplorable. Next slide. This will be slide number 8. So the next location I'm going to talk about is another inspection that we did for a nuisance property at 2075 Donnelly Hallowell Parkway. So in February of 2020, a nuisance petition was actually filed on this property with municipal court. In June of 2021, the case was dismissed. The reason for the dismissal was a procedural technicality. However, we went back out to the location July 15th of this year, and we took Public Works, the solicitor's office, planning, in particular the zoning department, and we took the fire department with us. And there were, while we were conducting the inspection, we were able to find 8 violations, and seven of those were junk vehicles and an accumulation of appliances in the parking lot. A nuisance petition has been filed on this, and the hearing is scheduled, I believe, for September 21st of this year. Next slide. This will be slide number 9. This next one that I'm going to talk about was a big one. It's going to be 900 Newtown Circle, the Forest Cove Apartments. Again, in March of 2020, the nuisance petition was filed. In May of 2021, the case was dismissed for procedural technicality. And July 22nd of 2021, we went back out there and we conducted another detail. And we took Zone 3 with us, Public Works Unit, and the solicitor's office. There were over 150 code violations that were found at this location. And of course, the SWEET team, they wrote citations that day for the trash and dumpsters and receptacles not being in the proper enclosures. There is a nuisance abatement action pending on this, and we're waiting for a court date on that as well. Next slide will be slide 10. So these next several slides are going to be photographs of the inspection. And again, I just want to comment that these photos do no justice for the deplorable conditions that our citizens are living in out there. So in some of these photos, you're going to see dead rodents. There were live rodents as well. You're going to see furniture, trash, debris, overgrowth. Next slide will be slide 11. Improper boarding of the vacant apartments. So when I say improper boarding, the City of Atlanta Code Enforcement section has boarding specs. So there's actual specifications in which a building is supposed to be boarded up. What this does is it prevents people from prying the boards off of the structure and climbing into the vacant structure. Because as I talked about the last time I presented, was these vacant properties, they harbor crime. So a lot of these buildings were not boarded to spec. Next slide is going to be slide number 12. You can see more improper boarding. You can see some deteriorated siding, trash and debris, and that trash and debris is actually in a unit that was vacant. Next slide, slide 13. You can see some open vacant structures, siding falling off the buildings, peeling paint, so on and so forth. Next slide, slide 14. These are some more photos of open and vacant structures. You can then see inside of some of the structures, that was the current condition. No one was living in these structures. They were just open and vacant. Here again, these vacant structures, they harbor the violent crime and criminal activity. So it's important that we stay on top of them to keep them boarded up. The next slide, slide 15. It's going to be more photos of the same. And again, I just want to say these photos do no justice for the deplorable condition that this apartment complex is in. All right, next slide is going to be slide 16. Now we're going to talk about the violent crime code enforcement inspections. Back in October of 2020, I instituted proactive code enforcement inspections. And what we do is we go out to the locations where violent crime occurs, and we conduct inspections on these properties, and we follow through the process, cite them, whatever the case needs to be, send out notices. So for this past quarter, we conducted 149 proactive inspections in response to the violent crimes that occurred. 41 violations have been discovered, and notices have been processed. Some of them have been cited too already. And out of 108 of those 149, no violations were found. Next slide. This will be slide 17. Next, I'd like to talk about the junk vehicle program. Thus so far, this program has been a great success. To date, 10 vehicles have been towed. If you look at the photos on the slide, Ms. Boone, you may recognize that vehicle. This was a huge nuisance for us. We worked with the homeowner and finally got it towed. We gave the homeowner ample opportunity to get this moved. But the reason why I wanted to highlight this one is just to show that we are working with the citizens to give them ample time to comply. On a good note, we have been able to get our citizens to comply with the junk vehicle program. So we slap a placard on the car. Some of them are just ignoring it, but I'll say the most of them, they're moving the vehicles. Perfect example was this. The location of let's call it the 4300 block of Bakers Ferry Road. A couple properties out there had dozens and dozens of junk vehicles parked on them. Officer Exum, one of our uniformed officers, and our code enforcement officer team went out there and worked with the citizens that lived in those houses and continually talked to them, and they finally moved them. So it's a success story rather than creating a bad story. With any program that's new, you run into challenges. Some of the challenges that we ran into was we weren't getting the notices out in time within giving people 30 days. So we had to go back and be fair and give those people time to comply, because they have a 30-day window to get that moved from the time that the inspection is completed. So what we did, we made the junk vehicle complaints a priority complaint. So after the case is opened up, they come right back to our research team, and the notices get processed immediately to get sent out. So we're in compliance with our own ordinance. Also, some of the other problems that we ran into were gaining access onto the property where vehicles are gated in, down in backyard, vehicles that are filled with excessive trash and debris, and tires because the impound company won't take that. And we don't want to clog up our property room with literally trash and tires. And we just can't throw that out because that property belongs to people. And for a lot of these incidents that there's excessive trash, debris, and tires, we're issuing citations to the people, get them in court, and they move the vehicles. Like I said, these challenges have been identified, and we have already put stipulations in place to fix the challenges, and we're moving forward. Like I said, great success thus far. Next slide, slide number 18. This is the compliance resolution activity, our interim program. To date, for fiscal 2021 activity, we executed 49 demolitions, including 3 multifamily dwellings, 3 commercial structures, and 1 triplex. Demolitions are down 51% from fiscal year 20 and up 20% from fiscal year 19. We did 18 cleaning closes, and including 5 multifamily dwellings, and cleaning closes are down 56% from fiscal year 20 and down 44% from fiscal year COVID-19. 66 properties have been cleaned and cut by our contractor. So our fiscal year 2022 activity, 9 demolitions have been executed since July 1st. 30 demolition projects have been awarded to the city contractor. 29 properties have been cleaned and closed by our city contractors, and over 200 demolition orders are pending the local and state clearances. So at this time, I'd like to announce that we do have a new interim manager. Miss Jocelyn Lyles was promoted within the code enforcement section a couple months ago. Thus, so far, Ms. Lyles is doing a great job. She is really handling business. But on the flip side of that, it's very sad, and I'm very humbled to give you this news. But we'd like to, Ms. Talley, the code enforcement section, and I would like to extend our condolences to one of our demolition contractors, Miss Marie Mack. She was the owner of Mack Hauling. She passed away this Friday. We have been working with her dating back to the 2000s. So we're going to miss her. I'll tell you what, she was a great woman, and we definitely will miss her. So on that note, next slide. This will be the final slide. In conclusion, I'd like to thank everybody for your time and attention and listening to this presentation. I'd also like to thank Ms. Talley and the entire code enforcement section for their hard work. They do an outstanding job. Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to open it up for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Major Schiffauer. We do have a question right now by our colleague, Mr. Ferrochi. Mr. Ferrochi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very quick question, Major Schiffauer. I noticed the slide on removing vehicles or abandoned vehicles from private property. Should your office also be contacted if there's an abandoned vehicle on the public right-of-way?
So technically, no. The zone handles that, but, I'm not going to bounce you around everywhere. If there is an issue, you can contact us, or the citizen can contact the code's request email address, and we can forward it to where it needs to be. But the proper procedure is they can call 911 for vehicles on the street, and the zone usually handles that. But we'll assist with it as well.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's all I have, Chairman Shepard.
Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bond.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Deputy Chief, for your report. But I just have a question. I've often wondered that when we make these housing code cases against these deplorable properties, is there ever a time when there's a certificate of occupancy is at risk? Because one of the things that really breaks my heart is to see people living under those kind of deplorable conditions, but they have to remain there, assumingly that while some of this work is being done. So is underneath the housing code, is it possible that some of these horrendously bad actors can lose their certificate of occupancy at all? I mean, I think it ought to be a crime.
Absolutely.
Okay. Please explain.
Absolutely, Mr. Bond. And we are actually collaboratively working on that now as we speak. And since it's ongoing, and I don't want to put details out there about it, I can talk to you one-on-one about it. But to answer your question, yes.
All right, yes. I'd like to know more about that because, people over the years, when you listen to activists, they say, Atlanta knocked down all of the AHA housing, and they drove all the low income or poor, or for lack of a better term, poor people out of the city, and that's not true or accurate. Most of the people who would be considered close to the poverty line or below the poverty line are actually living in privately owned apartments or units throughout the city, and some of them are the absolute worst. And it's always broken my heart to have people live in those conditions and not being able to successfully transform them out of it because of the things you mentioned. Some of these owners will go after the technicalities to get the cases thrown out. They get strung out over months and months and months and months, and all the while, it's the people that are suffering that live there. So, yeah, I'll look forward to us getting together to talk more about that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Major Shifar, I have a question. Up under the compliance resolution activities, when you get reports, you talk about the fact that there seems to be, and this year seems to be less than was happening in the previous years. However, my question is, are we seeing, based on numbers, a decrease in code violations, or is it because of COVID that we're not getting out so much faster? Or tell me those numbers in terms of how it correlates to everything that's going on in the city.
So what we see happening is, number one, we had one of our demolition officers pass away a couple months ago. And that hurt us. And then we had to hire an interim manager, and that came from within, and that put us down 2 demolition officers. And Ms. Lyles is having to do actually triple duty at this time to get things done. We are interviewing, and we are interviewing for those positions coming up real soon. And as far as the demolitions being down, we know that it is because of COVID. It's a little bit harder for our contractors to get the permits and everything that they need to get these demolitions done. It is getting better. That's why the numbers are looking good so far since July of this year. It is getting better now that things are opening back up. But I think because of the shutdown, that really hurt us with the demos.
Okay. And how many are we short when you say shortage? What is the shortage in what department?
Just two demolition officers in the interim section, the compliance resolution section. And like I said, we are interviewing at the end of this month and the beginning of next month for that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your information. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you so much, Major Shifar. I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a great day.
And Ms. Talley, I appreciate you and all your staff. And I did know the young lady that passed. I had worked with her in the past, so I'm just really humbly hurt by the fact that Ms. Mack, she worked with us for a long time. Yeah. Thank you. All right.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Madam Chair, I need to be excused from the meeting for a short period, but I am going to return.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bond.
Thank you.
All right. We will now move on, Ms. Linda, up under our consent agenda, and we will have claims with favorable and unfavorable recommendations. We will start with the favorable first. We have, I think, items 1 through 3, which are we can accept or have a motion to accept as favorable claims. Is there a motion?
So moved, Hillis.
Thank you. Is there a second? Ms. Winslow, are you there?
Yes, second.
Thank you. Ms. Linda, we're ready for the vote.
One moment, Madam Chair. The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? Ms. Boone?
Ms. Boone, are you there? Is that a yay?
Yes. Boone, yes.
Thank you.
Vote closed. That's 60 days, 0 nays. Those items are favorable.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. We will now move with claims with unfavorable recommendations. Those are items 4 through 25. Is there a motion? Our motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second Hillis.
Motion. Thank you, Mr. Hillis. Ms. Lindo, we're ready for the vote.
The vote is open, Madam Chair.
All right. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
Boone, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
The vote is closed, Madam Chair. That's 6 yeas, 0 nays. Those items have been adverse.
All right. Thank you. We'll now move on to our regular agenda, and that's ordinance for second read. Ms. Lindo, can you sound the first one, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. That's ordinance 21-0639. That's an ordinance by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee to amend ordinance 21-060163, adopted by the Atlanta City Council on April 19, 2021, and approved by operation of law per City Charter Section 2-403 on April 28, 2021, authorizing the Chief Procurement Officer or his designee to execute a third amendment to lease agreement with Chester Avenue Lofts, LLC, a Georgia limited liability company, for approximately 3,500 square feet of office space located at 890 Memorial Drive, Suite 006 in Atlanta, Georgia, 30316 for the Atlanta Police Department Task Force Unit Mini Precinct. In order to correct Section 1 of the Ordinance 21-0163, authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into the third amendment to the lease agreement and for other purposes.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there a motion?
Move approval. Move. Second Winslow.
All right. Ms. Smith moves approval. Ms. Winslow second. We're ready for the vote. Ms. Lindo.
The vote is open, Madam Chair.
Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
Boone, yes.
Thank you.
The vote is closed. That's 6 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. We'll now move to item number 2. Can you sound that, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. That's ordinance 21-0648. This is an ordinance by Councilmember Joyce M. Shepherd to waive Section 2, Article 9, Division 1, Section 2-910, grant applications of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to ratify the City of Atlanta's application with the United States Department of Homeland Security for the fiscal year 20 non-competing continuation funding for the fiscal year 19, securing the city's programs, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to accept the award of the non-continuation funding and to amend the fiscal year 2020 budget in the amount of $2 million to anticipate and appropriate the grant funds from DHS, to authorize the mayor or the director of the mayor's office of emergency preparedness as her designee to enter into any required agreements necessary for the implementation of this award and for other purposes.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. Are there any questions? I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Hillis. We're ready for the vote, Ms. Lindo.
The vote is open, Madam Chair.
All right. Ms. Boone, how do you vote?
I'm back online, Madam Chair, yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Winslow, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you.
The vote is closed. That's 6 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable.
All right, we'll now move to item number 3. I believe we're going to hold this item, but you want to go ahead and sound it, Ms. Lindo?
Yes, Madam Chair. That's ordinance 21-0661. This is an ordinance by Council Members Andrea L. Boone, Dustin Hillis, Michael Julian Bond, Marcy Collier Overstreet, Matt Westmoreland, Cleta Winslow, Carla Smith, Joyce M. Shepherd, and Amir Faroki to amend the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, Part 2, General Ordinances, Chapter 78, Fire Prevention and Protection, Article 2, Department of Fire and Rescue, to create a new section 78-36 entitled Firefighters Mediation Act pursuant to Georgia Section 25-5-1, and to incorporate all rights and privileges enumerated in Georgia Section 25-5-1 regarding collective bargaining and the resolution of wages, hours, and working conditions for City of Atlanta firefighters and for other purposes.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. The administration has asked us to hold it. They want to do a little bit more investigation in terms of this whole proposal and how it could apply. So they've asked us to hold it. So the motion, we have to vote on that, right, Ms. Lindo, to hold? The motion
yes, Madam Chair.
All right. And is there a second?
Second.
Boone. Thank you. Now I'm going to come back. Mr. Hillers has a question.
Thank you, Chairwoman Shepard. I'd just like to hear from whoever's representing the administration as to how much time they believe they need to review this so we can get a time certain on the review.
Do we have Mr. Johnson on the call, Justin? Ms. Lindo, do you know if we have Mr. Johnson on the call?
I'm checking with staff, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Council Member, Chairwoman Shepard, Justin Johnson, Deputy Chief Operating Officer. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good. So, Councilmember Hillis, thank you for the question. The analysis portion should take no more than 30 days to complete. After having conversations with the requisite departments, again, that should take no more than 30 days.
Thank you for that, Deputy CEO Johnson.
All right. Any other questions? All right, there was a motion and a second. I believe we're ready for the vote, Ms. Lindo.
One moment, Madam Chair. The vote is open.
Ms. Winslow, how do you vote? In favor. Thank you.
The vote is closed at 6-0 nays. This item will be held in committee.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. We're now in resolutions, item number 4. Ms. Lindo, can you sound that, please? And I believe there's an amendment. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair. This is Resolution 21R3816. Such a resolution by Councilmember J.P. Mathakite requesting that the Atlanta Police Department's quarterly update to the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee include a report on the number of license plate readers, TTZ cameras, and quad TTZ cameras that are not operational at the time of the quarterly update, and to report actions taken to repair or replace the devices that are not operational and for other purposes. And Madam Chair, we do have an amendment just to correct the binding clause of the resolution, which was formatted as an ordinance previously.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to bring the amendment forward. Is there a second? Winslow, second. Thank you, Ms. Winslow. Ms. Lindo, we're ready for the vote.
The vote is open, Madam Chair.
All right.
The vote is closed at 6-0 nays. This item has been amended.
All right. I'll now make a motion to approve based on the amendment. Is there a second? Winslow, second. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Winslow. Ms. Lindo, we're ready for the vote.
The vote is open, Madam Chair. Will everyone please vote?
I think we have everyone now. Thank you.
At yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable as amended.
Okay, can you go ahead and sound that item number 5, Ms. Lindo?
Yes, Madam Chair. That's Resolution 21R3852. That's a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to accept on behalf of the Atlanta Fire and Rescue Department a donation from the Atlanta Fire Rescue Foundation of a Train AC unit and a Honeywell control pad valued at $21,449.00 to repair the HVAC system at Fire Station 11, located at 165 16th Street Northwest, and for other purposes.
All right. Are there questions from our colleagues? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve, Hillis.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Winslow, second.
Thank you, Ms. Winslow. We're ready for the vote, Ms. Lindo.
The vote is open, Madam Chair. The vote is closed at 6 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. We're now on item number 6. Could you sound that, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. That's Resolution 21R3853. This is a resolution by Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee authorizing the settlement of all claims against the City of Atlanta in the case of Richard Stanley versus the City of Atlanta, civil action file number listed herein, and the United States District Court for the Northern District of Georgia, the Atlanta Division, in the amount of $8,033.18, $8,333.18, and authorizing the payments to be paid from accounts listed herein, and authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to distribute the settlement amount and for other purposes.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there a motion? Move approval. Is there a second?
Winslow, second.
Thank you, Ms. Winslow. We're ready for the vote, Ms. Lindo.
The vote is open, Madam Chair. Will everyone please vote? Will everyone please vote?
Mr. Hillis?
The vote's closed. That's 6 yeas, 0 nays. That item is favorable. Madam Chair, that concludes our legislative items on the regular agenda.
I'm sorry. Thank you. We have nothing coming off of Hale. Is that correct?
Not to my knowledge, Madam Chair.
All right. Are there any questions or concerns, guys? We're at the end of our meeting. I don't even know how to ask. It's not even quite 3:30.
You've done well. I'm happy.
Yes. All right.
Can I make
that? Go ahead, listener.
Motion done.
Second.
Amen.
All right. You all have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lindo. Thank you, Ms. Lindo.